Шановні колеги, ми продовжимо.
Dear colleagues, we continue our working day, and now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. So now the information about the events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, there were 2 armed provocations delivered by the militants near Trihizbenka and Nizhny village. In the Donetsk area, the hottest areas are the same: Avdiivka production area and the region of Gorlovka. The militant groups delivered 1 artillery shelling of Ukrainian positions at Shakhta Putilivska, also named mine Butovka, also near mines in Avdiivka, Pisky, Nevelske. The militants actively used mortars of 82 and 120 millimeter of caliber. In the region of Gorlovka, illegal armed groups delivered fire from the north to the west. The militants used mortars near Zaitseva, Novgorodska, Troitska, Verkhnya Toretska. Moreover, the militants delivered fire with the use of grenade launchers, large caliber machine guns, small arms, and near Zaitseva they used APC, and anti-aircraft weapon was used, and snipers were active. Also, the shelling of the positions near Mayorsk decreased to 1 armed provocation, and at the same time the militants are more active near Lugansk village, that is at Svetlodarska Bulge. There the militants used mortars, APCs, grenade launchers, and large caliber machine guns. In Mariupol area, the number of provocations increased. The hottest battles were near Pavlopol village, where the militants delivered 1 artillery shelling, several mortar shellings, and used grenade launchers. Also, the confrontation continues near Mariinka region. Here, the militants used mortars, grenade launchers, and also snipers were active twice. Mortars were used near Novotroitsk and Taramchuk. Also, it was not come near Chermachuk, and there the militants used anti-aircraft weapon and machine guns. In the course of the shelling, they damaged 5 residential houses, in one of which there was a 13-year-old girl. She was lightly wounded. And several enemy provocations with the use of small arms were recorded in near Slavna village. In Krasnogorivka, the militants used shells from tank twice, and today in the course of enemy shelling 1 woman was wounded and 5 flats were damaged. And OSCE international observers reported about shellings delivered by the enemy at residential areas, and this is a direct violation of international law, and it demonstrates the aggressive attitude of the militants that are supported by Russia. During the last 24 hours, 2 Ukrainian servicemen were killed while repelling the attack of the militants near Pavlopol, and 7 servicemen were wounded in the region of Zaitseva, Pavlopol, and Mariinka. Losses of the militants during the last 24 hours, 3 were wounded, and the military intelligence know their names. Igor Anatolievich Dudarev, who till 2006 had the name Yevtushenko, Igor Leonidovich Malitsky, and Mykola Alexandrovich Stepanov. Also, intelligence service also provide comprehensive information about the military actions and the results of our return of fire in the period of 10 till 13 of June in the region of Avdiivka. During 3 days, 21 militants died, 15 were wounded. Also, the militant group lost 2 tanks T-64, 2 self-propelled systems, APCs, 3 mortars, and 5 Ural trucks with communication equipment that belonged to 11th Detached Regiment of Makiivka and 100th Detached Motorized Brigade deployed in Donetsk. During 10 and 13 of June, 11 militants died near Mariinka and 21 were wounded. Losses of the equipment of the enemy: 3 tanks T-72, 2 self-propelled artillery systems, 3 artillery systems of 122 millimeter of caliber, 5 120 millimeter mortars, and 2 APCs and Ural truck. In the Novotroitsk region, during 3 days, 6 militants were they died and 9 were wounded. ATO forces also destroyed self-propelled unit of the enemy, 2 120 millimeter mortars and APC. Chief Intelligence Department of MOD provides only verified information about losses of the militants. And this explains the delay in time because they need to verify all the facts of these losses in order to prevent Russian propaganda. Also, according to the military intelligence service, Russia delivered 12 tanks of fuel and lubricants through Izvarina checkpoint to Lugansk. Ukrainian special forces detained informant of the militants. Local resident provided information about position and the number of Ukrainian servicemen. In the course of search, the SBU officers found mobile phone with numbers from the militants from the temporary occupied territories, and among of which there were identified militants. Also, people from occupied territory continue to use the program that is called They Wait For You Back Home. In January last year, a girl through social media established contact with a Russian who proposed to join so-called LPR. They had some financial problems in the family. That's why this girl decided to join. And then she realized that this is criminal activity, and she saw the immoral way of living among the militants, and she rejected this lifestyle, and she addressed to Ukrainian law enforcers. The militants and their proxies cannot avoid the punishment, and Troitsky Regional Court of Lugansk Oblast sentenced a member of Cossack militant gang to 9 years in prison. The man was detained in autumn 2015 in Milova village. It was established that the militant shelled Ukrainian positions at the checkpoint between Lugansk and Stanitsa Lugansk. His decision to fight against Ukrainian forces, he explained by the reasons that he wanted to earn money. Also in Kharkiv, they sentenced a traitor who, by order of Russian Federation Special Services, gathered the data about Ukrainian servicemen. He provided information about the places of deployment, the number of staff of Kharkiv Volunteer Battalion, and this information was assessed in 10,000 euro. And by court decision, this man was sentenced to 4 years in prison. In Ivano-Frankivsk, SBU stopped the activity of conversion center that laundered the money of LPR and DPR. Among the clients of this enterprise, there were firms that are in the temporarily occupied territories. Law enforcers confiscated about 11 million hryvnias, also seals, fake firms, computer equipment, banking cards, and also off-the-book financial schemes. Also, Ukrainian servicemen continue their training. Paratroopers improve their skills in Zhytomyrskyna. They work on uploading and downloading of the ammunition, also getting into the tank and getting out of tank. They also carry out aiming and carry out practical firing tasks. Also, Ukrainian servicemen and National Guardsmen are parachuted. So in Kirovo-Grachina, special forces and the officers of the National Guard of Ukraine, they learned how to parachute. So they traditionally greeted the students who jumped for the first time. And one serviceman who served under contract, he was greeted that he carried out his 100th jump. If you have some questions or comments, please.
То на цьому прес-конференцію завершено.
So this is the end of press conference. Thank you. The next press briefing is at